Abdallah told the UN General Assembly there is an urgent need to solve the Palestinian-Israeli conflict through a two-state resolution, and Saudi Arabia's King Salman bin Abdulaziz offered the Arab Peace Initiative as a mechanism for accomplishing that. Ahmed Fathi, a global affairs analyst and a UN correspondent, discussed the highlight of the two Arab kings' addresses to the UN with VOA Senior Analyst Mohamed Elshinnawi.
All parties want to accomplish peace. However, while President Biden sees peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians, with Israeli state and its capital unified Jerusalem, that the U.S. officially fulfilled the Congress resolution and transferred the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem during the President Trump administration. All the Arab leaders, we heard it with the President of Egypt, Sisi, we heard it again with King Abdallah of Jordan, we heard it with King Salman of Saudi Arabia. They demand a two-state solution, a state for the Palestinians with its capital of East Jerusalem. So I don't know how they're going to work it out. Nevertheless, each leader interpretation of how they envision this solution differs from one to the other. Jordan, an independent country, member of the United Nations, 65% of its population are Palestinian. There is a demographic imbalance in that country. So King Abdallah is really walking a very tight rope in this. His domestic calculation is a very complicated fine line. King of Saudi Arabia, he withheld entering into the Abraham Accords that the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain and later Morocco joined, where they established diplomatic relations with the State of Israel. Saudi Arabia decided to withhold their recognition till a little bit of achievement happens on the track of the stalled negotiation.
Jordan's King Abdallah urged the UN for a collective response to global and regional challenges. Did he specify these challenges?
On the regional level, he spoke about Lebanon and the dire situation in Lebanon. And he urged the international community to move in an orchestrated manner in order to help this country before it becomes disintegrated. And this is a real threat that Lebanon is facing. On the other side, he also emphasized the need to address the climate change threats that the globe now is facing. And he called for establishing of a regional network to build resiliency. Climate change is a global threat. Countries by themselves, they cannot tackle it. It needs to move from regional to international to universal. And that's the way he envisioned, and that's what he's asking his region and the international community to provide.
The Saudi king told the United Nations that his country supports efforts to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons as world leaders prepare to resume talks with Tehran to reinstate a 2015 nuclear pact. Can you walk us through Saudi king accusations to Iran and demands he proposed to have normal relations with Iran?
Saudi Arabia have problem with the situation in Yemen. Saudi Arabia is target to attacks by drones, IEDs, and towards its strategic facilities impacting the oil industry and airports, etc. Saudi have a problem, an ongoing problem with Iran since the 80s, since the arrival of the Khomeini back then, rooted in sectarian differences. That's only one aspect of the problem. The geostrategic competition between the two major oil producers really is spilling over in the region. Iran had a nuclear program that now negotiations is underway among international partners and the United States to get Iran to comply. The Saudis, they are asking from Iran to suspend its nuclear activity, to suspend its messing along its border in Yemen, in Iraq, and try to be a normal member in this region.
That's Ahmed Fathi, a global analyst and a UN correspondent, speaking with my colleague Mohamed Elshinnawi. A UN